Alright, so I'm going to do this video as a quick preview for this book, or Richthoften's Flying Circus for Warhammer Historical. And the reason why I want to do a quick preview for this book is it is probably the most rare Warhammer game book ever. And the reason behind that is it was the last printed of the Warhammer Historical range, and I think just they printed a very few number of copies. So like all the Warhammer historical books, this book doesn't have its own unique rules, but instead uses rules from one of the other Game Workshop's games. And in this case, it uses rules from Aeronautica Imperialis, which is the futuristic sci-fi dogfight game. So it just applies the dogfight game to World War One, late World War One era aircraft. As you know, aircraft were just coming out in World War One, and towards the end of the war is when you saw the most impressive feats of airmanship and whatnot, and vehicles, of course. So I'll be doing a more detailed, readable copy, because I know right now the light is reflecting on a lot of the words. And actually, the camera I'm using right now is a Vision. I forget what model. It's like a $450 Vision document scanner. So it's actually more of a scanner I'm using right now instead of a camera. But I still need to take the time to learn all the features of it. And essentially, it should be, when I get it working, it should be able to make a PDF based on what I'm doing right now. Just flipping the book, it'll get a scan of this page, make it as the next page of the PDF. Same thing here. I just haven't got the time to look into that exactly. And even further than that, I would like to get the video quality a little bit better. I need to get my video expert guy in on this, because it looks a little bit grainy, but this is a 4K camera, so there's really nothing it shouldn't be able to do. Perhaps I have to get a little bit closer to the camera, and this range is set up just for making these PDF scans. It could do that fine, but it should be a little bit closer, so I could actually pick up the book. About there. And also, I'm not looking at it full screen right now. I'm looking at I'm looking at what I'm filming with the OBS software, and it's less than full screen. So hopefully, when I pull it up full screen, I actually do that setting, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Anyways, hopefully for y'all watching the video yourself, you can pull it up full screen and turn it on the 1080p. That's the intention. That's the intention, that I whatever I'm outputting is the best quality for you guys, and then you could just make it full screen, turn it at the 1080p, and take screenshots or what have you. It is kind of an alternate tool to the PDF for hopefully obvious reasons. Oh, this is really cool too. So there are there are Zeppelins of some sort. I believe they're not any kind of, I don't know, I haven't read this book enough to be honest, but right here is a scout balloons. It's talking about a scenario with scout balloons, so I haven't seen any like attack Zeppelins yet. Actually, I'm pretty sure they're not in here, but just having Zeppelins at all is very cool. And pretty soon we're going to get to the aircraft portion of the book. Right here is the Fokker. I heard about that plane from a young age. I think it was the last one. I think we're going to see more Fokkers right here. Towards the end of the book we are. I think there's like the third one was supposed to be the killer. So these are scenarios right here in the book. More scenarios. Balloon busting. There we go. It's really interesting. I don't think there's any weight to it, but My local Game Workshop store employee just recently told me that he pretty much implied, or he straight out said, I don't have his exact words, but he pretty much said that like all these Warhammer historical books were a copyright infringement and like they weren't real Warhammer. I don't think there's any truth to that at all. It's a In the end, it's a Black Library publication, which is a subsidiary of Games Workshop. But obviously, a lot of people don't know about these more obscure parts of Game Workshop. Even Forge World now is becoming, well, they've already kind of reined Forge World in. Actually, Forge World used to have their own chief financial officer, but under the same CEO as Game Workshop. But they put a plug on that. They're all about the money now. See, that's the thing. Like these models right here, this game, it's not going to make them a bunch of money. It didn't make them a bunch of money. They could have sold more copies. They really could have made money that way. But they're trying to make money with the miniatures, and obviously they're not going to make a miniature for every one of these historical planes because that's not what sells. What sells is there. I want to be Star Wars trash. Here we go. So some planes. I look for the Fokker. Here's one. Here's 6. What's that? A 7 and F. 7 and 7F. Fokker 8. Looks like I was wrong about the 3. They didn't mention the 3 in here. Maybe it wasn't. It could have been skipped over using testing only, or maybe it just didn't make this book. Technical gallery. It's really, this artwork helps you imagine just how crazy it would be to be in one of these primitive planes and just going at it with machine guns at other people in the sky, and just imagine if you were to take hits and you were to start to go down. All right, so here's where it's going to talk about like the most important, the ones they really want to showcase. So here we have the Fokker, the original Fokker, I believe. It says right here, this is one of the most well-known aircraft of the First World War. Oh, okay. Here it says it was not the best aircraft produced by the German during the conflict. So maybe this pedestal I have it on is a urban legend, or not quite true. It looks like it's the most notorious plane, but maybe not the best. Then it switches over to a British plane. And this one's really interesting, of course, is if you... I don't even want to speak of that company. That company's garbage. But maybe this might be the original Diva. I'll say that. Companies no more anyways. I guess I could talk about them. Talking about Blizzard. Blizzard got bought out by Microsoft now. Okay, here's the Fokker 7. Okay, here we go. It was one of the best scouts to fly during the war. It had a fast and had a better rate of climb than the Allied counterparts. So that's really cool artwork too on the planes. So maybe this is a plane that I was talked about as a kid, or this version. Yeah, I didn't talk about the rules too much because I don't understand them. I don't know them. Um, I know they are from Aeronautica Imperialis, so there's a height system, and on the base, on the base, on the stands for these planes, it has a rotating numbers, kind of like one of those things where it's just like a turn dial where you turn the numbers. And excuse me, I got an alarm going off over here. So with the turn dial, you put your height, the height of the plane, and that matters which height level you're on. So it brings in the third dimension in that way. So this book has a great combination of artwork, sketches, and text, and your charts and such like this. Here, maneuvers. So really, with these maneuvers and the height system, I mean, you could probably, if you know Game Workshop games and how they work with your six-sided dice, you could probably get an idea of how this game would play out. And there you have it. I'll definitely revisit this book in the near future, and get you guys a more readable version of that. In the meantime, there's definitely more stuff to come. I don't know what I'll do exactly besides that, but I have this going on for the book side, and then I have the 3D Light Studio for the miniature side. I've had both of these devices for a while now, but I haven't done much of them for a couple of reasons. But I'm trying to turn my attention to that. And one other thing, I've been wanting to run Warhammer games where I'll have all the miniatures, both armies and the dice and everything, and anyone online can play against me. And it'll be Warhammer Fantasy with small armies, so there's going to be like only a certain range of options, so it's going to be easy to teach and ask other people how they want to play. And essentially it's a way to play Warhammer Fantasy in this environment where it's frankly very little people play it.